The veteran's hand shook as he reached toward the microphone. His artificial leg caught the lip of the witness stand, making him stumble. From the defense table came a sound that sliced through the courtroom, sharp, mocking, unmistakably a laugh. Judge Frank Caprio's head turned instantly. 17-year-old Tessa Brandt, hand half covering her mouth, still had a glimmer of amusement dancing in her eyes. The smirk was alive and confident. "Did you just laugh?" Caprio asked, voice level but pointed. Tessa lifted one shoulder in a lazy shrug. "Sorry, it was just what?" She waved her hand carelessly. "Nothing. I didn't mean anything." Court stenographer's note. 11:14. Please tell us where are you watching from? 9 a.m. Defendant laughs during disabled veteran testimony. In the gallery, a man in his 40s sat rigidly in the third row, hands clasped so tightly the veins in his arms stood out. He hadn't looked away from Tessa since the hearing began. She, on the other hand, had not acknowledged him even once. Whether she truly didn't notice or pretended not to, no one could say. His name was Caleb Brandt, Tessa's father, and he knew exactly how the man on the witness stand had lost that prosthetic leg. But his daughter had no idea. Judge Caprio stepped down from his bench and moved toward the witness. "Take your time, sir," he said gently, placing a steadying hand on the veteran's arm. The veteran Raymond Alder straightened himself. His voice was quiet but unwavering. "Thank you, Your Honor. The leg still catches me off guard sometimes. Even after 12 years. 12 years, Caprio repeated softly. Where did you lose it? Kandahar region, Afghanistan, October 14, 2012. The room fell into a hush. For the first time, Tessa's smirk cracked. Not vanished, just cracked. Her mother, Alina Brandt, shifted in her seat, uncomfortable now that the tone had changed. The clerk rose. Case 2025 JV 1129, City of Providence versus Tessa Brandt. Charges: felony criminal mischief, vandalism of veteran property, harassment, trespassing. Alina stood abruptly. "Your Honor, these charges are outrageous. This was a silly prank blown out of proportion." "Ma'am," Caprio said evenly, "let me first understand what happened." He turned back to Raymond Alder. "Mr. Alder, please explain what happened on January 11th. Raymond inhaled deeply. "My wife and I were asleep. Around 2 in the morning, our doorbell camera caught 3 teenagers entering our yard. They spray-painted my garage, then went into the backyard." He stopped, his face tightening. "They destroyed my memorial garden. The police report details a targeted act of vandalism at 41 Lenton Drive, where officers arrived to find the property deliberately defaced. The garage door was spray-painted with multiple slurs, including baby killer and monster, indicating malicious intent. In the front yard, 7 memorial stones dedicated to fallen service members were discovered overturned and cracked, suggesting purposeful desecration. An American flag hanging near the porch had been defaced with black paint, further elevating the severity of the incident. Additionally, a set of military dog tags was reported stolen from the display case. Total estimated property damage, $8,400. Caprio looked at him with quiet empathy. "This memorial, what does it represent?" Raymond gripped the stand. "I built it after coming home. Took 2 years. Each stone carries a name. Men I served with, men who didn't make it back." "Would you read their names?" Raymond swallowed and nodded. "Private Carter Hale, 19, Georgia kid, wanted to be a coach. Specialist Linwood Rios, 22, Chicago, could fix anything. Sergeant Aaron Melrose, 26, twin girls born while he was deployed. Corporal Devin Pike, 21, Providence. His mom still sends me Christmas letters. PFC Jalen Morris, 20, funniest guy in the platoon. Specialist Ken Edo, 24, brilliant, languages, tech, everything. And Staff Sergeant Rowan Cheng, 34, my closest friend since basic." Silence blanketed the room. Even Tessa had stopped chewing on her thumbnail. The weight of 7 names lingered in the air like a held breath. The prosecutor stepped forward with a laptop. "Your Honor, this video was posted to FlashVid, what used to be TikTok, By the defendant at 2:47 a.m. It was deleted 4 hours later, but a neighbor had saved it. The video played silently. 3 shadows moved through the yard, kicking over stones. One, Tessa in her distinctive jacket, held up a chain of dog tags toward the camera like a trophy, grinning. A caption appeared across the bottom. "Found some psycho's shrine lol." Comments included, "Dude, that looks like military stuff. Delete this, seriously. This isn't funny." Caprio's voice came out cold. "Miss Brandt, is that you?" Tessa hesitated, then nodded. "Yeah, but I didn't know what it was. It just looks strange." "Did you ask?" "Why would I ask some random old guy about his backyard?" she snapped. "It's not like he had a sign up." Caprio stared at her. "Because it might have mattered." He turned to Raymond. "Please continue." Raymond explained how he spoke to those stones every morning, how he watered the flowers, how the garden gave him a place to speak to the men he couldn't save. "Then she stomped through it," he finished, "and laughed." Tessa lowered her eyes. For the first time the bravado slipped. But the story was not finished. Judge Caprio had been watching the silent man in the third row. "Sir," he said, "you've been extremely attentive. Do you have a connection to this case?" The man rose. His voice was gravelly. "Yes, Your Honor, my name is Caleb Brandt. I'm Tessa's father." Tessa's head jerked up. "Dad." Why, he didn't look at her. "I know Mr. Alder," he said, eyes fixed on Caprio. "We served together." The courtroom shifted. A collective intake of breath. Raymond Alder froze at the stand. "You served together?" Caprio asked. "Yes, sir, 10th Mountain Division, 2012. He was my squad leader." Raymond's hands tightened until his knuckles were pale. Caprio's voice lowered. "Do you know how Mr. Alder lost his leg?" Caleb nodded slowly. "I was there. I was in the same vehicle." Tessa blinked. "What vehicle? What are you talking about?" Caleb finally looked at her, tears already threatening. "Raymond saved my life, Tess." The room stilled. "He dragged me out of our Humvee when an IED hit. I was unconscious. He pulled me free. Then he went back in. He went back for the others." Caleb's voice cracked. "He got 3 of us out before the second explosion. That's when he lost his leg. His friend Rowan died right beside him." Caleb swallowed hard. "For 12 years, I've carried the weight of being alive because he refused to leave us behind." His voice trembled, not with fear, but with heartbreak. "That memorial garden you destroyed. I've stood in that garden every Memorial Day since it was built. I thank those 7 men for giving me the chance to come home." He looked at his daughter. "And you mocked it. You mocked them." Tessa stared at him, stunned, breath trembling. Caprio allowed the silence to settle like dust. Then a woman rose, Nora Alder, Raymond's wife. She approached the front of the courtroom. "I see my husband every morning," she said softly. "He goes to that garden no matter what. It keeps him connected to the boys he couldn't save. After what happened, he couldn't step outside for a week. He just stared at the broken stones, wondering what he'd done to deserve it." She turned to Tessa. "You have a father who lived because my husband went back into fire for him, and you laughed at his scars." Her voice gentled. "Someday I hope you understand what that meant." Judge Caprio removed his glasses. "Miss Brandt," he began quietly, "I've seen many things in this courtroom. Cruelty, ignorance, carelessness. But it is rare to witness someone laugh at wounds earned saving her own father's life." Tears ran freely down Tessa's cheeks. "That," Caprio said, "is tragic irony." He continued, voice firm. "You spray-painted baby killer on the garage of a man haunted by the children he couldn't save. You mocked tributes to 7 fallen soldiers. You laughed at the leg he lost pulling your father from a burning vehicle." Judge Caprio delivered the sentence slowly, deliberately, as if each word carried the weight of 7 uniformed ghosts standing behind him. The courtroom fell silent, not out of fear, but out of a quiet recognition that this punishment wasn't about breaking someone down. It was about rebuilding someone who had forgotten the cost others had paid for her freedom. First came the financial reckoning, full restitution of $8,400, a reminder that damage done, physical or moral, always comes with a price. Then, 300 hours of community service at the VA, where she would look real sacrifice in the eyes every single day. She was ordered to give a formal spoken apology in open court, not scripted, not rehearsed, raw and honest. Judge Caprio added a requirement that struck even her father silent: a mandatory visit to Arlington National Cemetery, to stand where those 7 names were carved into stone. She would write 10-page essays for each of the 7 fallen, learning their stories, their dreams, and their unfinished lives. She must attend 3 Memorial Day ceremonies at the Alder's home, honoring the family she disrespected. And finally, she would join the Veterans Oral History Project, recording the memories of heroes whose voices deserve to be remembered. Tessa whispered, "I understand." "Look at Mr. Alder," Caprio demanded. She did, and saw a man who had walked through fire literally for her father. Caprio's voice softened. "Learn to be someone who would do what he did." 9 months later, at first, the VA hospital overwhelmed her. She cried alone in a bathroom after helping a double amputee named Eugene into his wheelchair. But she came back. By month 3, she was working physical therapy sessions. Her walls cracked. Compassion grew. By month 5, a veteran named Arthur told her, "Everyone screws up. What matters is what you do after." Her essays totaled 70 pages. She interviewed families. She listened to memories. She cried with strangers. At Arlington, she knelt beside her father at a grave of a man he once knew. She took his hand, something she hadn't done in 8 years. On Memorial Day, in the restored garden, Raymond handed her a trowel. "Help with the marigolds," he later murmured. Rowan always liked yellow. It was the first time he'd spoken to her directly. 9 months after sentencing, Tessa wrote to him, "I can't return what you lost, but I won't forget what you gave." Her last oral history interview was with her father. They talked for 2 hours. They cried. They healed. 1 year later, Judge Caprio received a photograph. Tessa and Raymond stood in the garden. 7 stones behind them, the flag waving. They weren't smiling, but peace lived in both faces. A handwritten note read, "She waters the flowers now, every Sunday." Raymond Caprio pinned the photo in his chambers and wrote beneath it, "A 2-second laugh, a lifelong lesson."